Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Money Matters Top Tips for Success, where each and every day I bring on new business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and have them share their top tips for success with you. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tours, schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Max Sharkansky on the line, and he's managing partner over at Trion Properties. Max, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Thanks for having me on. Good to be here.
So I'm excited to get more into what you're doing over at Trion Properties and how you're helping your clients. But before we do that, let's get a little bit further into your background. So how did you get started in business and in your career?
I started out straight out of college. I worked at a company by the name of Marcus & Millichap. That is one of the largest multifamily brokers in the U.S. So I started out straight out of LMU, and I started out as an assistant, learning the ropes, and then I became a broker. So I was representing both buyers and sellers of multifamily real estate for about 5 years, early 2002 to end of 2006.
So you obviously you're many years into your career now, long ways away from the days of starting out over at Marcus & Millichap. But that being said, there's some younger entrepreneurs out there, or maybe they're just graduating college and they're thinking about going into real estate as a career. What kind of advice would you give to that new person that's kind of green and thinking about it as a long-term career? Because you've managed to make a good long one for them.
Yeah, sure. So a little bit more on my career path, which I would advise young entrepreneurs, also young college grads, is taking the path of starting out as a broker on the sales side, or going to work in-house for a sponsor like us, and figuring out the industry for 5-6 years, and then you can pivot into the investment side of the business, which I did in 2005-2006. And my partner was on the finance side, I was on the sales side, and we started buying our first few properties in 2005. So we were just buying older apartment buildings, improving them, increasing the rents as units turned, and thereby increasing the value of the property. And that's the business model. So I think that's, a very nice path for any young entrepreneur to take. And they could do it, they could start off on their own whenever they're comfortable, whether it's 5 years in, 7 years in, 10 years in, or longer than that. So, I've seen people do it at all points of their career.
That's awesome. Great advice there, Max. Let's switch it up a bit. I do want to get into what you're doing over at Trion Properties. So first, tell me a little bit more about the company, please.
Sure. So as I mentioned earlier, we started out in 2005, 2006. We buy older multifamily properties, typically stuff built in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Also typically buying from folks that have owned it for 10, 15, 20 plus years. They haven't put much capital back into it. The assets are tired. They don't look good in the neighborhood. Oftentimes in the worst case scenarios, they're not very habitable. And we're going through, and our business model is we want to create the best renovated Class B plus property in the marketplace. So we're not quite competing with brand new construction properties, but we want to have the best renovated product in the area. So we'll implement a capital program where we're spending $10,000 to $15,000 or more in the right areas per unit. We are spending quite a bit of capital on the common areas, the amenities. We'll take an old rec room, turn it into a fitness center. We'll take a vacant piece of grass and turn it into a dog park. And we're really modernizing the community. So that's our core business. We do some ground-up development as well, but we only do that in LA. Whereas on the value-add side, we're West Coast. We're San Diego, LA, Bay Area, and Portland, Oregon.
Wow. So if somebody's listening to this and they're thinking, okay, you have a track record, you've been in the industry for a while. Do you take on accredited investor money, or is this all in-house? What kind of things should people be looking for Trion Properties for?
That's a great question. So our main capital is through accredited investors. We started out very organically, just friends and family. I was raising capital with some friends, with some personal friends, some friends that I worked with at Marcus and Millichap. Same with my partner. He was raising capital from friends, family, some of his old colleagues from HFF at the time, and that grew very organically. As you start to do deals and you gain more of a reputation, word starts to travel very quickly. So we started to really build and nurture our investor relationships, and now we've got over 420 accredited investors, and we also occasionally do deals in a joint venture format with opportunity funds and family offices.
Are there any trends that you care to comment on just from your neck of the woods in terms of real estate that you're seeing happen in the market?
Yes. So the major metros in the western states, which is where we play ball, are doing incredibly well. All the fundamentals are phenomenal. You've got job growth, you've got population growth, you've got in-migration from all over the country, people coming to Northern California to take jobs in technology, people going to Portland because it's affordable, and they also have phenomenal jobs in sports apparel and technology. You've got Nike, Intel, Salesforce. You've got a phenomenal downtown with great restaurants, great bars, and it really checks every box on what you look for in a thriving real estate market. And, in terms of, everyone's always wants to know, what inning are we in? When is the economy going to soften? It really, I hate to sound naive, but it feels like in the short term, there's not really going to be much softening because the economies are just so robust.
That's awesome. So Max, if somebody is listening to this and they're wanting more information on Trion Properties, or they even want to connect, what's the best way for them to do it?
Please check out our website, www.trion, Trion-properties, plural, PROPERTIES.com. You can learn a little bit about our company, properties that we've turned around and sold, properties that we have in portfolio, and you can schedule a call or email us straight from the website, right on the homepage.
And just to be clear, so the type of properties that you're typically working on, you mentioned multifamily. Maybe go in just a little bit further into that one for us, please.
Yeah, so we're basically just buying older apartment buildings in San Diego, LA, the Bay Area, and Portland, Oregon. Stuff that you drive by on a daily basis, look at it, think to yourself, God, somebody really needs to put some money into that building. And that's the stuff we buy, and we're the guys who you really hope want to put money into that building. And then we also do a little bit of ground-up development as well, where we'll buy a few old houses, tear them down, build some apartments, or something of that nature.
Fantastic. And give us that website one more time, please, Max.
Sure. www.trion, Trion-properties, PROPERTIES.com. Or you can email our Director of Capital Markets, Andrew Lucas. It's alucas, ALUCAS, at trion-properties.com.
Fantastic. Well, hey, Max, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and all the great work you're doing over at Trion Properties to help your investors prosper. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes store, share with your friends and family. I mean, do all those great things we do to support our podcasters. I really do appreciate it. And Max, thanks again for coming on the show.